Hello there. In this video, I'm going to be having another look at the DJI CrystalSky monitors. I did another video on these a few weeks back, and that one I did indoors, and I didn't really get a chance to take it outside and show it in real world conditions. So I'm not going to go too heavy into the technical detail in this video. Please watch the other one if you want more info on the technical side. I really want to just show you it outdoors and what it's like in these sort of conditions more than anything. Now, I've been using them for a couple of weeks and I've had a good chance to play with them. We have both sizes to look at, and the bracket I'm using here is a bracket made by a company called Evolution 3D. They make some nice 3D printed brackets for a range of products. This is the one for the CrystalSky on the Mavic Pro. It has a couple of mounting options, so you can mount the monitor on the top or you can mount it over the controller. It leaves plenty of clearance on the back, and it also means that you can move it from the back position to the front position and have it located over the top of your hands rather than sticking up over the top of the monitor. Now, I actually prefer it in this position. So there we go. It's there now. It still leaves plenty of clearance for your fingers, your thumbs. The antennas can then go up as well. You've got the other bracket that's still on the back, which you can remove, but it's really just quite nice and really well balanced when it is in that position, basically. Now, I've got this connected via a very short USB-C connector that goes from the bottom of the device to the controller. It just goes through the hole in the bottom there. Now, there is something to remember. If you're going to use this cable, you have to unplug the side connector. If you don't, it will not work at all on the bottom one. You always have to remove the side one first. Taking a closer look at the hardware itself on the CrystalSky, you've got various controls and ports all over the device. So on the right, you've got your buttons. You've got your main power button at the top, an F button there, and these are programmable buttons that allow you to set them to dedicated options in the menu, such as screen grab or adjusting the brightness control. It's a little hard to see on this video, but what you can do is define each function and have like a quick shortcut to doing that. You've then got the menu button in the middle, which brings up a quick menu, which allows you to change the very basic settings, things like HDMI, Wi-Fi control. You've got something called SRE as well, which allows it to adjust the color options and things like that. So you've got those options in there that help make the screen a bit more viewable. And then you've also got an option to flip the screen as well. So you can press that and it'll actually rotate the screen 180 degrees. Now, I like to set the F1 button to auto brightness because you've got a light sensor at the bottom of the monitor here, and that allows it to automatically detect the conditions, and then if you press it again, it'll jump to maximum brightness, basically. I then set the F2 button to screen grab, which is really handy when you're out in the field. The bottom button then is back. This allows you to just scroll back through the menus. So I'm back into Go. I can hit back again to the main landing page and back to the home screen on the device itself. Looking at the hardware, if we go around to the other side, you've got a HDMI output, USB. Now, this USB allows you to connect things like a memory stick for transferring media. You've got a micro USB port, which also can be connected to the controller, but I'm using the USB-C port on the bottom, but you can use both to connect to your controller. The next one then is a headphone jack. Looking over the top, you've got your microphone at the top because it does record audio. Under this top bar is the GPS antenna, and then the grill on the other side is the fan output. The other grill is the fan input on that side, and then over here you've got your two micro SD card slots, which allow you to put your video directly into the device. These are both the 1000 nits version of CrystalSky, with the 5.5 inch having a 1920 by 1080p screen and the 7.85 having a 2048 by 1536. Now, storage, the 7.85 has 128 gigabytes of storage, with the 5.5 only having 32, but this should be plenty for the average user. Okay, so I've switched over to the 7.85. I've got it mounted in the top position. Now, just like the 5.5, you still have all the same adjustments. You can move it to the front as well. Now, it is heavier, there's no question about that. The antennas do clear at the back just by the battery, but it does fit in exactly the same way as the 5.5 inch did before. Okay, so I've switched it into the bottom position now. It does balance a lot better here than it does when it's over the top. Now, there's no question that it is heavier than the 5.5. Compared to that, it does weigh more, but there's still plenty of clearance. Now, looking at the difference between them, the 7.85 still has all the buttons down the side. The big difference is the SD cards have been moved to the side of the device. So all the other ports are still there, like the HDMI, the USB, this micro and the headphones, and the USB on the bottom, but they've moved the SD card ports onto the side of the monitor. Comparing them side by side, the 7.85 does have a 4:3 aspect screen, whereas the 5-inch does have a 16:9, so they are different aspects, but both are high definition. In this part of the video, I'm going to try and show the difference between the CrystalSky and my iPhone 7 Plus. Now, my phone is on the maximum brightness setting. We're looking at the home screen here, so you can see that the iPhone is not as bright as the CrystalSky. If we go in the menu, I've got camera view on my CrystalSky, but I can't do it on the phone at the same time, but I can show the menu options, and the CrystalSky is clearly brighter when you're holding them side by side. But again, this is very hard to demonstrate on video with glare. I am doing this with the sun directly on the devices as well to try and demonstrate that and show how anti-reflective the screen is as well compared to the iPhone. I'm now showing you them with the 7.85 and the iPhone on the Go app's map screen. So I've got them both on a map, and I'm just trying to show on the camera really and see if you can see the brightness difference. Again, it's really hard to show this, but it is clear that the CrystalSky is definitely easier to see. Now, it's not just the brightness, as I said before, it's actually the colors and how they pop on the menu items along the top. So you can see that the menu items, the little colors along there, are a lot brighter on the CrystalSky than they are on my iPhone 7 Plus, basically. So to me, in real world conditions, it is absolutely a lot brighter. For the last part of this video, I've switched over to the Wi-Fi control mode with the CrystalSky. So I'm not using the controller, it's completely turned off, not in use. I'm purely using the CrystalSky to control the Mavic via the Wi-Fi mode. Now, you've got your on-screen controls, so you've got your yaw, left and right on the left-hand side, and then you've got your altitude control as well. So I go down and I go up on the left-hand stick. The right-hand stick does forward and back, and it also does side-to-side movement. Again, this is exactly the same as it is on the Spark. When you are in this mode, there are a couple of limitations, though, you should be aware of, and that is as follows. You are limited to a maximum distance of 80 meters from the CrystalSky to the Mavic Pro, and you are then limited to a maximum height of 50 meters. Now, this is a geo limit. This is not a signal limit. This is a fixed limit that they have put into the Go app to stop you traveling any further than that from the controller. In Wi-Fi, you're never going to get any further than that anyway, but it is something to be aware of when using the Wi-Fi mode. To finish up, you know what, I really do like these devices. I'm an iOS guy, but they really have won me over. If you've got something like a Mavic or a Spark, go for the 5.5, whereas if you've got a larger craft, go for the 7.85. That extra screen real estate is really, really good. Again, these are both the 1000 nits version. We haven't seen what the brightness is like on the 2000 yet, but I do think this is bright enough for most. The buttons are good on the side, as is the connectivity all round, and overall they're just solid devices. About the only downside currently is not having the ability to run third-party apps, but other than that, I am really impressed. Please take a look at my other video if you would like some more in-depth details on the devices themselves, and thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will do another video again soon.